All right, let me paint a picture for you. You are 14 years old, and your mom and dad come up to you and say, hey, we're sending you to drone racing camp for the entire summer. Evan Turner did something like that since the age of like 10. It's probably one of the reasons he is the champion that he is today. I know personally, I would have loved to have gone to drone racing camp or RC camp or, whatever it was at the time. But you can listen to find out more. I'd like to thank my patrons. If you would like a podcast version of this and all the interviews that I do, you can hit the link below. Typically, that podcast version drops the same day that the first interview does, so you don't have to wait for me to peter these out. That's a business decision. Thanks. Appreciate it. Anyways, I love my patrons, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye. So let's dive into the last topic for the night. How the heck did you go from, where did you start? And how did you get from where you started to being a national champion to being in DRL?
Yeah. So it's a long story. So for those who don't know, I've been in RC remote control since I was 10 years old. Sorry, that was 10 years ago. So it was when I was 6 years old. So I'm 16 now, and I started back when I was 6 years old. So you can imagine a 6-year-old kid or a 5-year-old kid that sees an RC airplane, thinks it's cool. My grandfather on my mom's side, he was a pilot for a long time. He has his private pilot's license as a plane, like a full-scale airplane. So I had that interest from there. I've ridden in it a few times at that time, and I just really thought it was cool. So then we have a really good club of guys here locally, and they have an RC flying field out at the landfill, and they fly. It's just a really, really awesome group of older guys who just really enjoy it. So we went out there a few times, and it was just a total blast, something I really enjoyed. I was young at the time. I think that was when so I have 3 siblings. We're all 2 years apart, so it's my sister, and then I have 2 younger brothers. So it was right when my youngest brother was being born that this all happened. So I'm sure my dad was looking for reasons to get out of the house. This whole RC airplane thing happened, and so then we started doing it pretty recreationally. We started at the exact same time. Me as a 6-year-old, couldn't really build an airplane or didn't really have the mental capacity to be patient enough to do all that. So he had to learn how to build and such. And then we started flying together and stuff. We started on the simulator, and so that was about 10 years ago, like I said. We started progressing about the same time, and then we got a simulator, which was real flight at the time. So I obviously, based on the previous interviews, had a lot to do with simulators. So every single day, I think I was first grade at the time, I would come home and just spin from the second I got home to that night, just on the simulator, trying all these tricks and things like that. That's how you learn. The same way with quads. And then my dad obviously had to go to work and do grown-up stuff and probably feed my brother at 2 in the morning and stuff. But I started to progress really fast, which was good. I was a young kid. The plasticity of their brains is just incredible. Even my brother now, who's 10, it's just he can pick up a quad now. He doesn't really fly much, but he can just pick it up and just learn it nothing. So it's just I envy that really a lot, and that's just kids in general. But I started doing that, and then I got into competitive airplane flying. So, and this is something a lot of people in the quad industry don't know about, and just they don't know it exists. So there is competitive RC airplane flying. So we fly these planes. They have gas engines. They have 200 cc gas engines. They have 4 cylinders, 2-stroke. So they're these big. They have the wingspans are 10 feet wide. That's how big the wingspan is, 10 feet, which is huge. They weigh 50 pounds. They're big. You have to have a trailer to carry them. So they're big things, and it's called IMAC. So it's and that is a precision style of flying, which is a lot like racing if you look at it. So there's freestyle in anything. So there's a freestyle side where they fly to music and it's choreographed and they do all these tricks randomly in freestyle. But there's also the precision side, which I find a lot like racing, is because you have a very precise way of doing it. There's it's different because it's being judged. It's so you have these 10 tricks or maneuvers that you have to do, and then you're judged off of 2 guys sitting right behind you, and they judge you off this book of criteria. You have to go to a school each year. It's a weekend, a 12 or 14 hour course to just be able to judge that year. So they do that, and then you get judged off of all that stuff. But it's very precise. There's countless criteria that you have to know what they're looking for and things like that. And then, so yeah, it's very, very competitive. Guys have been doing, since airplanes have been around for so long, guys have been doing that for like 40 or 50 years. So it's been, it's really hard to like progress in something like that when someone has like, instead of like 2 years over you, they have like 40 years of experience over you. And so I started off doing that. I started to get better and better at that. I went to a summer camp, which is it probably sounds like a dream to most people. It's an RC plane summer camp. So it's was run by this guy named John Schroeder and his wife Tina Schroeder. They had this amazing sod farm out in West Tennessee, and they would invite the 5 to 10 best pilots under the age of 18 out to their farm every single summer for like a month or a month and a half. Mm-hmm. And we'd go out there. It was at absolutely no cost to us or our parents. They'd feed us. We had our whole barn to ourselves, which was like remodeled into this house. So we had this whole house to ourselves, essentially. Miss Tina would make these amazing dinners for us, this lunch and everything. They'd provide breakfast, and just this amazing, amazing environment. We learned, I still credit to all the things that I've learned, a lot of the things I've learned about just being a good person, and not only that, but being a pilot to that camp, is just because he passed away about a year ago, and he's like a legend in the RC industry. Like ever since he was a kid, he'd been one of the best, and he'd won multiple national championships, and he was essentially like a second grandfather or dad to me. Just because he was so knowledgeable about so many things in life. He'd made a bunch of money back in opening his own business, so that was one of the other reasons that I was inspired to do my type of business. And he was just a really inspiring person. Has done a lot in his life. And so I went to that camp, and I think this year will be my 6th or 7th year that I've done that. So ever since I was just like a 10-year-old or 11-year-old kid, I would go to the summer camp with all these other much older boys. And we'd fly every single day. We'd go out in the blazing hot sun, set up these tents. We'd have to essentially pay in like labor because it's a sod farm, so it's this old sod farm, and we had to mow. So we had zero turning that had to be done. Weed eat. They had every year. So they have this big long white fence line, and it is like 100 yards, and there's 2 of them. And so there's one that goes right down the driveway, and another one that goes right down the flight line. So whoever flies the worst or does something the worst, they're stuck weed eating for the days. And it's like a 2-hour-long thing. You have this big old weed eater. You have a bottle of Gatorade and you're like shoved in your pocket, and you just go down, and you have to go down both sides. You're like, nah, right on the next one, nah, and oh my Lanta. So that, and especially as an 11-year-old carrying a big weed, and apparently it looked really funny. I don't have any memory of it, but I was just this like tiny little 5-foot kid who had this like humongous weed eater, and because they'd always stick me with it because all the older kids would be like, oh, Evan, you can weed eat today, and things like that. So it definitely taught me how to deal with things like that, and they'd always go and do the weed eating and sit on the mower, and they'd always make me do the weed eating. But it made me grow up a lot for sure, and John just taught me so many amazing things. And now Tina's still doing it. She's always done it and been amazing, and she's been like my second mom and stuff. She's taught me so many things. I went into camp being an extremely picky eater, but she would be like, this is what we're eating, and you got to eat it because I'm not going to give you anything else. So she made me a much less picky eater, which I credit a lot of that to her. But now it's run by a guy named David Mosier, and he was like John's right-hand man. He was John's first student way back, and he's grown up with John pretty much his whole life. So back to what I was saying. So that's IMAC. And I actually won my first national championship when I was 11 years old in IMAC. So that was, John had taught me all this stuff about the precision flying, and I went to this camp. Yeah, so I actually won, and there's 5 different classes. So there's basic, sportsman, intermediate, advanced, unlimited. So in the sportsman class, I was the national champion that year. And then 2 years after that, when I was, I guess, 13 or 14, I won again in the advanced class. And then I actually went on that same year to win the world championships in the advanced class. So there were like hundreds of pilots there. So I won the world championships, and that was 2017, the same year I won the IO. So I won the World Championships for airplanes, and then also the World Cup at the International Open the same year, which I thought was really cool. But so right as I started to get good at quads is that I sort of started doing more and more quad because there was a lot more opportunities. I obviously got to travel a lot with some other racing leagues, and I had a lot of opportunities there. So I started to gain more interest in quads just because like it was something fun and something new, and since I've been doing it for so long. And I still go to that summer camp every single year to help out David and Tina. And it's like they say, like when somebody's helped you that much, like you always will go back and support them. So I always go back, even though I'm not flying. They still have the camp every single year with like all this new blood, and they're all helping them to turn into the next world or national champions. So I go back every year. I do not get stuck weed eating as much as I used to, which is a good sign. Yeah. But I'm always back there helping and just making sure helping them out as much as I can. So I go back there every summer. They obviously like to support me back. So this last year they set up a track for me. So I was able to, when they're out flying, I can go over to my little track and practice and stay in it. So that it's really, really awesome. And it's truly my second family over there. So right as I won the World Championships of IMAC was right when I won the IO at Muncie, Indiana. And that was before I'd won my first nationals in quads. So that was like right when I won IO, like that was the big like, okay, like he's serious and whatnot. So that was really big for me. And so yeah, that kind of transitioned into, let's see, so 2017 was that, and then now I have accomplished some other things and stuff, been able to do some other races and grown 533 and stuff. So a lot has happened in those 2 or 3 years. But yeah, I really have to credit so much of my success and just being the human I am today to John Schroeder and all the people and David and back to and Tina at just the RC, because it's not near as competitive or as big as drones, but it's just such a tight-knit community, and there's such a good group of guys over there that it's really been amazing. I've learned so much. Yeah, that's kind of how that's all started. It's been a crazy long journey. It's like ever since I was a little kid, it's something I've been passionate for, and it's something that's harder to find now in the quad industry. I find is that since it's so young, all these people who get into the quad industry, they don't have that same passion because they've been in it for 10 years. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in it for 4 years, but exactly. I get it. Yeah,
and that's really good. And it's when you've been in something for a decade of your life, and especially for me who's 16, like that is like 2/3 of my life.
Most of your life, yeah.
Yeah, it's most of my life, and so it's definitely like something that I've just grown up knowing to be like what I like to do, and it's I've seen what it's given. I've done a lot for this, done a lot to help like make the sport or whatever, but the sport's done so much for me that I just feel like I have to give back and like do as much as I can. Like that's why I'm always happy, even though it costs me X amount of dollars to give someone a frame or motors. I love to help and support those younger guys and those even the older guys who just they can't afford to get their frames or motors or whatever. I love to be able to support that because I know that would just mean so much to me as a little kid that if someone did that to me. So I really love to help somebody out like that if they can't afford it or just don't have the time or whatever, just to help them have the best experience possible because I know how much it changed my life and made me who I am today in a positive way. So yeah, it's been a crazy, crazy adventure, and there's a crazy long list of all the people that I could thank for what they've done. But it's just this community, I'll say it time and time again, it's just full of so many amazing people like yourself and others that just affect us in such a positive way in the industry in general. That it's just such an awesome community. No matter how big or little the racing or everything is, it's just we'll always have that community there that. If you're in it, then you're going to have a good time. So I really, really enjoy that over like soccer, football, or whatever. It's like, it's just different, and it's hard to explain that to someone who's not really experienced it before, but the industry is really awesome. And I try and do whatever I can to help that.
I mean, I don't want to dive into the whole FAA thing right now. But the thing that always kind of draws me back into this, because there's, you wax and wane, you kind of come in, you go, you get real good, and then you get bored, or sometimes you burn out. Is that, at the end of the day, like we're freaking flying.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I mean, it's like, I got to go fly. at my aunt and uncle's house. And they've got this beautiful property. It's on one of the bays around here, because we're on the coast. I'm in Virginia, and I wanted to go fly because I wanted to make a video, but I also wanted to let them see their property from a different perspective. And I don't know, at one point, like, I punched out and just kind of drifted over a set of pine trees and then came back down. And I just had this thought. I was like, how many other people have seen the top of these pine trees? Yeah,
exactly.
Like really, like, if we stop and think about it, like, I mean, granted, they're in the flight path. Well, I probably shouldn't say, but they're near the flight path of a landing strip. But I mean, there's not a lot of folks that have actually seen the top of those pine trees, and it's I don't know, it's just a special club, and I get excited about taking my kids with me. Like my daughter came to me tonight. Oh, this was the best. My daughter came to me tonight because she has shown absolutely no interest in drones. My middle son Logan, he wanted a Mobula 7 for Christmas. And so it's a long story. We ended up getting, I ordered it from Banggood because that was the only place I could get it. And I ordered it from the US shop, but they sent me the EU version, and we're on Free Sky, and I can't get the receiver to flash because we've got non-EU receivers or transmitters. And so anyways, all that aside, we finally got him. I finally just said, screw it, I'm gonna return this to Banggood, and then got him a new one, which we ordered from RDQ. We ordered it yesterday, and it got here today.
Oh wow!
It's like, this is insane. Like, what are y'all doing over there? I was impressed. But he finally got it in the air, got it bound. He was flying it around the house, and my daughter came up and she was like, "Daddy, will you teach me how to fly?" And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I mean, and like, putting myself in the shoes of your dad, my kids are going to far surpass me. Like, if they continue in this hobby, I mean, like, even just me sitting down and picking up the sim with them, you could see, my son Logan doing reverse wall rides, and I mean, we're all freestyle pilots. We want to race, but I hear what you're saying, like the passion of being in it for a while and wanting to pass it on to other people. For sure. Do you, like, you're still a part of that summer camp? Do you ever foresee that, like, at some point it could transition into, well, here's how you do the IMAC flying. Oh, and come learn drone racing from HeadsupFPV.
We've a lot of people. I've actually probably received a lot more messages than people realize about people wanting to, like, come to my house and pay obnoxious amounts of money to stay in my basement and fly every single day with me. And I think that would be something really cool, especially with how well it affected me through what John did and has continued to do. It's obviously being 16, like, over the summers I go to that camp, and then I'm a junior in high school, so I'm pretty busy, but it's something I do dream of doing. And we've had, like, small ones, like I have. And that's something else I love about this. It's just I have friends from every corner of the United States, every corner of the world, and they can come down to my house. We all have the same common interest, even though, like, some of these people I've, like, never met in real life. Like, this weekend, like, I've talked to this guy. His name's Alex Bryant Rab. He's a crazy tiny whoop pilot, amazing guy. And I never met him. I've just been talking to him on Discord through these Velocitron races, because we have races every week or whatever. And just talking to him every Wednesday, every time we got on to race, and we just became really, really good friends over online. And we met up, and we just picked right back up. And after never meeting each other, shook our hands, like, "Oh, you're him?" Like, "Oh," and we just picked right back up, and we're great friends. And,
you're taller than I thought you were.
But it was really, really cool to, and I get to do that a lot. So, like, we've had, like, small heads up camps here where 2 or 3 of my friends will come over. We'll fly in the yard, and it's so cool for people to come over here because, like, they've seen some of these in my yard in, like, videos or whatever from my dad or myself, and
your dad.
It's just so cool to see them get excited about it and whatnot. Hopefully someday that'll become reality. I know that we have some international guys before the IO that we were considering them coming early and staying at my house, and then us doing like a big long road trip up to IO, so we can like train here and then go up there, which I think would be a total blast, especially if like it's the first time in the U.S. to like show them around. I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah.
So that might happen. And just we all have the same common interest of just flying in general and stuff. So I think that just flying somewhere, especially at a spot that they've seen on countless videos and whatnot, just flying together is just something that I think that people would like. It doesn't matter if it's at my house or if it's a camp by HeadsupFPV or whoever. Right. Just going out and flying with people when you don't have that rush, that race pressure is just so much fun, especially with racing. The racing guys are so competitive, especially at the top of the leaderboards, and it's so much fun. You don't realize how, like myself and like Alex Campbell or Nub and all these people, when we go out and we fly or we race, we set up a track, we're just out there having fun. Like we order a pizza or something, have some fun, and just, we just fly around. We do like spec races. We slow the quads down. We like fly the track backwards, try and midair each other. Like, it's just fun, and it's something we all enjoy and have the same interest in. So I really hope that something like that can happen someday. But just anytime I get to go around and fly with someone, even whether it's at a race and a big race or just us flying out in the field for fun, like, it's just something I really enjoy, and other people do too.
Cool, man. Well, all right. So where can people find you? How do they get a hold of you? Plug 533.
Yeah. So the best way to message me, I found some really old emails. Some people, apparently my email got to some people and they tried to email me. I have 19,000 unread emails, so I will not see your email if you somehow find it. Right. So the best way, and I have 0 unread messenger messages from Facebook. So my Facebook is Evan Turner, EvanTurner. If you're not friends with me, or if I don't see your friend request, just send me a message and it'll show up that you've requested to message me, and I'll check through those every, like, once a week or something. I'm happy to message you. My Instagram is HeadsupFPV. My YouTube's the same, and things like that. My air views, where you can follow me on air views as well as HeadsupFPV. And yeah, as far as 533, you can find our website at fly533.com. Like, it'll be a link below, I'm sure. And then as well as our Instagram for Fly533, so which is just also Fly533. For those who don't know, who are seeing this from whatever part of the world, we do have a European warehouse. So if you want to order and you're in the EU, you go to fly533.eu, and that'll take you to the European warehouse. And then fly533.com is the US warehouse. And also, for those who don't know, if you order from the US warehouse, it comes directly from my basement. So that I have all the parts over here. I have like tons of boxes lined up over here waiting for the motors to arrive. And so yeah, you'll get a handwritten note from myself or my brother. I'll show you something funny here. So my brother, who's 10 years old, actually, he works for me. And so he's 10 years old. He's and what he tells his friends is he's the head of shipping at a aerospace startup. So that's what he tells all of his teachers and things like that. So this is his little paycheck. It might be reversed on there, but so for every order he packs, he gets $2. So he's got a bunch of orders on there. He's been working for about a week now.
Aren't you violating child labor laws now?
I'm sure we are in a few different ways, but he loves it. And so yeah, that's his little paycheck. So every time he gets paid, he moves on to a new little slip. So he's got he's got them filed away and stuff. So my mom actually has to go open up a bank account for him because he has to start getting money from us, because me and Mondo were talking, because he does a lot of work for us, because I come home from school and all the packages will be packed, and he's not allowed to seal them because I have to double check them. Yeah. So they'll be all lined up, and then I'll look through them, and if I don't have to change anything, he gets a mark, seal it up, and then me and Mondo are like, man, he's been a really big help. So we have to figure out how to pay him now through 5533. So he absolutely loves it. We're getting him business cards to show his friends and whatnot. But so you can say it's a family-run business. Yeah, so you'll get a note from myself or my brother. My brother's handwriting is not the best, but he'll include stickers to make up for it.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, getting a heads up note is one thing, but getting your 10-year-old brother's note is probably better.
Yeah, exactly. He always does this really cool, like, 3-dimensional S that he loves, and he has the time of his life. So I'm pretty sure he includes way too many stickers than he's supposed to, but you'll know that if he gives you one, he'll probably have a ton of stickers in it, which I'm sure you won't complain about. But yeah, and then feel free to message me. I'm always any race I go to, like I said, will more than likely have a frame or motors that I'll be sponsoring. If you are flying a switchback or something at the race and you break something, please come and tell me, because I'm more than happy to help you out with spares and whatnot, just because I want to make sure that you have the best experience possible, especially with Fly 533 products. But yeah, so it's completely run by myself, my little brother, I guess, and Armando. We have the German guys. But yeah, it's a small group of guys, but we all have that same passion for it, that we've been into it for so long, and we know what people don't like, what people like about a company. So if there's something messed up, you got to tell us, and we will do everything in our power to make sure that you are 100% happy. So please get back to us. We're learning as we go. So if we mess up shipping or things like that, we've been open for like 2 months and 6 days now, and we've had tons and tons of orders, but we're figuring it out. But yeah, so it's been a huge learning experience. I hope everyone enjoys their Fly 533 products. But yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything, just hit us up on there. You should message Mondo as well. He's a huge help. And yeah, we love doing this, and we love supporting the community. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Awesome. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I know we've been playing tag a lot, trying to get this interview.
But it's totally fine.
I'm happy it's actually happening.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the Michael Rollins Show, because as we all know, we couldn't come up with a better name. You have been listening to Evan Turner, aka HeadsupFPV, 2-time national champion for multi-GP in the US, and who knows, I mean, possible DRL champion. Vanover may have something to say about that. I'm sure he does. I agree. Anyways, y'all have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
See you guys.
Heads Up FPV, Evan Turner, thank you for coming on, sir. It was a spectacular interview. One of the longest that I've done. We talked for a long time, even edited down. It still exceeded 2 hours by like 0.5 seconds. I hope that y'all enjoyed this. I know it was a lot to listen to. I'm thinking about changing some things up and perhaps putting out more but shorter segments. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, thank you for coming along on the Michael Rollins Show. Thank you, Evan Turner, for coming on, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.